ha ha ha. What up, red-pilled based peeps? Also, Fook the normies. Okay, so subscribe and like Based Boxing Basement, or I'll shoot you in the face. Also, Ben Shalom sucks and wears a ridiculously small hat, and his Corey has been mutilated. Ha ha ha! That's the funniest thing. Ha
ha! Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Joker. You made me laugh. And from one joke to another, yeah, we move on to the undercard of Conor Benn vs. Chris Eubank Jr. And it's been set now. Yeah? It's now been set to date. The date is the 26th of April at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham. Spurs Stadium. Yeah? Tottenham, I think, is Ben Shalom's favourite football team, as I understand. Tottenham, yeah. Even though he's from up north, he's a Tottenham supporter. Not quite sure why. I mean, some maybe put it in the comments if you know why Ben Shalom is a Spurs supporter. Anyway, let's have a look at what the undercard is shaping up to be. And it's no surprise. It's completely whack. Now, thus far, there are only 5 fights that are confirmed. I assume they'll add some more. 5 fights is not a lot for a pay-per-view, a stadium fight. I mean, I'm amazed they believe that these 2 bums, Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, can fill, a stadium. Good luck, let alone that people want to pay £19.99 for this dog shit. I've already, kind of previewed the Eubank bum main fight at middleweight. So I don't need to go through that again. It's a bit of a joke fight in the sense that Eubank's so much bigger. He's fought as high as 168 super middleweight. Conor Benn has fought as low as 140 pounds. Even with his eggs, he's a welterweight. Whereas Eubank is a solid middleweight. I mean, it's a joke big fight. Obviously, they're just writing off the names. But like I said, I'll do a preview near the time. I've already had a look at it and called it as what it is, a bum rip-off fight. But let's look at the undercard. So there's Billam-Smith, the George Clooney of boxing, prematurely grey. He won, was it the WBO middleweight title? Yeah. He fought at world level, but that's not necessarily to say that he actually beat anyone at world level. The guys he beat for the WBO title, Apollo Thompson, Uzi. He defended against Jimmy Kilrain Kelly. Come on, man. Look at Jimmy Kilrain Kelly. I mean, he was a alleged prospect, but come on, man. He's European level. He's Irishman, so that doesn't count. Some guy called, I can't even remember these fights. Predrag Radosevic. Who's a bomb, 35 fights. His record now stands at 30. He's from Montenegro. I mean, hardly the boxing, hotland, is it? He had, at this point, he had 35 wins. This is now, by the way, with only 13 KOs and 3 losses, 3 by KO, 1 including by Billam-Smith. And he'd already been knocked out by Felix Sturm years ago. I mean, none of those guys are a world championship material, even for the WBO. Apollo Thompson, I mean, who the heck is he? He's a guy who's now got a record of 19 wins, 7 KOs, 5 losses with 3 KOs. Come on, man. Where do they find these bums? He did get the big fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Clenbuterol Alvarez. He lost in 9 rounds. It's not real disgrace. He's put down in round 7 and 8 and finished with a body shot. So we're talking about a guy, Billam-Smith, who's never actually beaten a world-class fighter. Yeah? He beat Liam Williams twice. Liam Williams was like Liam Smith, just below world-class, What's his face? Smith Also went the distance against Jaime Munguia, the Mong, one of the ugliest world champions. Oh, no, maybe he's not that bad, but he does look like he's got that syndrome, innit? That downward-facing syndrome. He got put down in round 6, Smith. He lost a unanimous decision. Munguia's been somewhat shown up after getting ironed out by a French guy, with hardly any knockouts, who'd never fought out of France. You know what I'm saying? In one of the biggest upsets of recent times, admittedly. But still, Bruno Suras, or Surace, if he identifies as Italian-French, I don't know. So Munguia's been kind of shown up. But who else has he beaten? Smith, Sam Eggington, well, come on, man. Anthony Fowler. He lost to Magomed Kurbanov again. He got the Smith. If you're in the Smith family, you get given so many chances, so many world title chances. You know what I'm saying? It's simply crazy. Callum Smith, Paul Smith, who's probably the bum of the family. I don't know, how did these guys get so many world title shots? Anyway, he knocked out Chris Eubank Jr., which was a big surprise. Some people put it down to the weight, but hang on, man, it was at middleweight. They're both middleweights. They're both weighed in at exactly the same poundage. And Eubank was expected to win that, and he got KO'd, blasted out by Liam Smith. In the rematch, Eubank stopped Liam Smith in 10, but, again, he was down in the 4th and again in the 10th. Liam Smith goes down a lot against decent fighters, right? So, he could say he was world champion, but come on, man, anyone who knows he's not really. He's never beaten a world-class opponent. You might say Eubank. Eubank's probably the best opponent, and he's actually beaten Chris Eubank. But Eubank ain't really genuine world-class himself. So what do you want to know about that Liam Smith from Liverpool? You know what I'm saying? And he's fighting Aaron McKenna. Aaron McKenna from Monaghan, Ireland, as David Greenblatt might pronounce it. This is a guy who has a decent record, 19 wins, 10 KOs, but he looks about, 14 in his pictures. Again, he's another so-called prospect who's never beaten a single world-class or even close to world-class fighter, So, I'm not going to call him a bum. He's a fair boxer, but if the last guy he beat was unbeaten, to be honest, but he wasn't that great. Giovanni Estella, who's now lost his last 2 fights in a row, but that guy ain't world class, and he never will be. Aaron McKenna will probably never be world class either. He's a tidy little boxer though. But, I know I watched him, but I can't remember it. But, he's regarded as a tiny boxer. Liam Smith is a slight favourite. It's fairly even, but 1.61 vs 2.4. Use decimals if you know anything about betting. And I don't need to justify that anymore. The question is, McKenna's only 25. The question is Liam Smith, what is he like? Is he 39 now? Something like that. He's old blood, and that's not just his grey hair. It's not just he looks old, No, I was wrong. He's only 36. He definitely looks, in his 40s, but that a lot of that's the grey hair, and he's got this extremely white skin. I don't know. He looks ill. I'm sick of the Smith family. I want the man of boxing. Maybe they've had a few good fights, and Callum Smith was probably the top dog, and but he didn't really beat any genuine world-class fighters himself. And his Smith family, they continually get over and over. Paul Smith even fought Andre Ward. Andre Ward? The guy who would send the glass eye to sleep, but he's unbeaten, although, let's be honest, man, Kovalev beat him. But whatever, how did Paul Smith end up fighting Andre Ward? I'm not even sure if it's a world title, but Paul Smith got loads of world title challenges, I just don't get it. So that's the first one. It's a fairly interesting fight, but it's nothing special. I don't care about it, and most boxing people won't. Next on the menu, Anthony Yarde vs Lyndon Arthur. Are you kidding me, man? I should say Anthony Yarde, Tunde's little boyfriend. You know, that fraud Tunde Ajayi. He used to hang around. I see him all the time around boxing shows or in and around London, right? Just trying to chirps up everyone. Just trying to get some fighters in them. You know, almost always black fighters. I don't care. I mean, that's up to him. Like I said, people are allowed to be racist if they want, and I just don't care. But they should just admit it. But yeah, Lyndon Arthur, yeah, who's what's his name? Son Edwards' bodyguard, basically. Let's just say that, you know. Sonny acts a bit more tough when Lyndon Arthur's around and that's fine. But Lyndon looks tough. I think I called him Linton. It's Lyndon. Sorry. Who cares? I mean, Lyndon Arthur. He's European level, I'd say. Anthony Yarde KO'd him in 4 rounds in their second fight. In the first fight, Lyndon Arthur won on points on a split decision, and it was considered a pretty big upset. Yarde is yet another one of those fighters, though, unfortunately. Which kind of fighter? Just like this Liam Smith. He's fought at world class, but he's never beaten a world class fighter. Never. Right? Anthony Yarde. Has he really? Let's have a look at his record. It's full of like no-namers. He got KO'd by Artur Batavius. Everyone's getting all excited. Oh, he gave him such an amazing fight. Oh, he pushed him as far. No, he didn't, man. I was watching that fight. Yeah, he won a few rounds. A couple of rounds or something. But I was just watching, just going, she just know he's going to get clocked. Yeah? Yeah? And if you look, yeah, he got KO'd by an alcoholic and aging Sergey Kovalev in 11 rounds. But he did put up a good fight. He hurt Kovalev, although Kovalev's chin had gone by then. Apart from that, Yarde has not beaten a single world-class fighter. You know? It's crazy, all these Brit fighters. You know, they get world title shots. Some of them even win world titles. Like I said, Billam-Smith, even though they've never fought a world-class fighter. And who the heck cares about Lyndon Arthur, right? Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yarde 3. I mean, you know, woo, big deal. Lyndon Arthur beat Liam Cameron on a split decision on his last fight. Before that, Vidal outclassed him. You know, every single scorecard is 120 to 107. You can't get more of a beatdown without being stopped. I mean, Art's tough, but you know he still went down in the 11th, and Vidal isn't really a finisher or a puncher. Yarde is, obviously, and he's already ironed out Lyndon Arthur. I mean, who cares? Does anybody care about King Arthur? King Lyndon Arthur? If he's Anthony Yarde? What's Anthony Yarde's nickname? I don't even know. Who cares? Tunde's boyfriend, probably. But, I mean, look, these are 2 Brit guys who fought 3 times. They've had 1 each, but, you know, one of them got ironed out. Neither of them. They fought in world class, you know, Lyndon Arthur once, you know, and lost, and got dropped. Yarde twice, and got KO'd, and they beat no one of any importance apart from that. I mean, who cares about this fight? And so you just got to recognise this is, yeah, in the scheme of things, these they're not whack fighters, but they're European level at best. Lyndon's British level, really, you know? And they're selling us as the undercard. It's a bum fight. They're not bum fighters necessarily, but it's a bum fight. Next up, Chris Billam-Smith, CBS. Now, he obviously just lost his world title. Pretty much, you know, he's a tough guy. We all know that he's a tough guy with a reasonable punch, right? He's been beaten twice, but his last fight, Gilberto Ramirez, you know, he won a few rounds, but ultimately Ramirez was the clear winner. And I don't even rate Ramirez that much. I think Ramirez will get brutalized by my man's Jay Opataya. He lost split decision to Richard Riakporhe, who's yet another so-called British world title prospect who's not near, you know, who's not world class. He's European class at the best. But, you know, CBS got his revenge and won on points. I'll give CBS this. He has beaten one world-class fighter, Lawrence Hug Cody, the Octopus. So, you know, I'll give him that. You know, in an upset, you know, and he managed to, you know, I thought he won clearly. I don't know why it was a majority decision. One guy gave it 1-1-12 to 1-1-12. I mean, come on, man. You know, Okoli was down once, twice, thrice, and had 2 points taken away. And this guy, one of the judges, Benjamin Rodriguez, I don't know who he is, 1-1-12, 1-1-12. Really? Come on, man. So yeah, CBS, another guy he's had one win against a world-class fighter. Yeah, and one fight. He's fighting some guy called Brandon Glanton. I never heard of him. His record's fairly good. 20 wins, 17 KOs, 2 losses, only on points. His name is Brandon Bulletproof Glanton. So, let's have a look at his record, see if he's any good. See if he's probably, I can guarantee, without even looking at his record yet, he will not have beaten a world-class fighter. He's got a good stoppage ratio, but let's have a look here. He lost to... Okay. 4 fights ago, he lost to a guy called Sozlan Azbarov in Dubai. He's a Russian, right? Who'd only had 3 fights before he fought Glanton, so that's not great, is it? And he's not a puncher. He's only stopped one guy. Come on, man. So this Glanton has been beaten by a guy who only had 3 fights. He also lost to David Light, who was unbeaten at the time. I give him that. He's a New Zealander, who went the distance with Hug Coley. He's clearly beaten though, but so what? David Light's another guy who's not world class, but he got a world title shot. There's so many world titles now, yeah. It's not like the old days, and even when Joe Louis days, they'd have bum of the month. But back in the day, there was 8 divisions and 1 champion. Everyone that you fought would be dangerous. And now they got 4 champions, and what is it, man? How many divisions now? 17 divisions or something ridiculous. So there aren't enough world-class fighters to go around. And imagine the women's boxing. Well, there's no world-class boxers full stop in women's boxing. But, we got the so-called GWOAT fight for the alleged world heavyweight champion. Well, she's already heavyweight champion. And there's only 18 heavyweight females in the world. And a year ago, there was only 8 of them. So some 10 big fat pigs must have turned pro. Yeah, no one's listening to GWOAT, and she'll say, I'm the best athlete ever. I should be rated like, so-and-so, Pacquiao. I'm as good as Pacquiao because I won in all these divisions. It's such nonsense. So, Landon. Oh, he did beat Alexei Egorov, who's a half-decent fight from Russia. But, who went the distance, or they lost clearly, against Arsene Goulam-Mirian. So actually, Glanton ain't too dreadful. He's not world class, but then, like I said, CBS is barely world class. No, I think I'll give him. CBS is world class, but he's not really good enough, to hold on to a world championship for long, and he hasn't really got any world class wins apart from the Octopus Okoli. Billam-Smith's 2-1, 2-1 favourite, 2-1 on favourite, even though I don't like these fractions. 1.5, Glanton 2.62. So it's not a bad fight either, but it's not a great fight. It's not a world class fight. It's not a fight that people are particularly interested in. Billam-Smith. You walk down the street. Who's Chris Billam-Smith? I don't know. I don't know. Does he play for Tottenham? Ben Shalom's favourite team, Tottenham? I don't know. Billam-Smith is from, what is it, Bournemouth? Bournemouth, is that right? So, he can probably walk around the Bournemouth, when Bournemouth are playing at home and, well, he hasn't got a world title anymore, but walk around and get loads of love. But, CBS. He is all heart, and I appreciate that. But it's not a bum fight. It's an okay fight, but it's not huge, is it? And the final fight on the bill, and you imagine, right, then if they're going to add any fights, it's unlikely that there'll be big fights, because usually the bigger fights will be made earlier, because you're dealing with more experienced guys, doing longer rounds. Billam-Smith is unlikely to jump in at a week's notice, is he? And he wouldn't. But anyway, so we've got Vidal Riley against Shavon C4 Clark, who's also one of Sonny Edwards' boyfriends. He lost his last fight against Leonardo Mosquera, who was also unbeaten. I won money on that. So he lost on points. I would have been hugely impressed by C4. Chev, as Sonny calls him, Chev. It's a bit early to talk about world class, so I can't diss him too much, but, who's he beaten? He's beaten a couple of decent, like, British level people that, Ellis Zorro was sort of okay, Tommy McCarthy. This is C4. And I've always thought he's over muscular, but then he started to pick it up and knock out a few people. And I thought, okay, maybe he can move up. But I remember watching his early fights and I go, this guy's going nowhere. And he probably isn't, by the way. Vidal Riley, again, I've already talked about him. He's a Ben Shalom fighter from Tottenham. So he probably sports Spurs as well as Ben Shalom. Again, it's too early for him to fight in world class, obviously, but there's no way this guy's entering world class. There's no way this guy's entering world class. Yeah, but like I said, Vidal Riley, I don't know, what is he, care-sized friend? He taught him to box? I can't remember. And then did a couple of raps or something. That's what someone said. I didn't know because I thought he was meant to be some YouTube star, but apparently that's a story. Someone put it in one of me comments. One of me fans put it in the comments. So it's a very, it's an even fight, more or less. More or less. Vidal Riley's a slight favourite. Very slight favourite, but basically it's an even fight. So what we've got, okay, so what are the positives here? Well, there aren't that many, right? And the positives for Sonny Edwards is that two of his boyfriends are fighting. They can probably spit roast him after the fight. Shavon and Lyndon, can spit roast the 8 stoner, whilst Clarissa Shield watches and laughs. But in all seriousness, what we have got, so the 5 fights we've got are pretty even. They're pretty even. Even the Conor Benn, Chris Eubank, the bookies have it pretty even. 1.72 to Eubank, Conor Benn 2.25 are the best prices you can get. So we've got 5 fairly even fights. So that's the good news, right? But we've got 5 fairly even fights, none of whom feature world-class fighters or interesting fighters, except Eubank Benn. No one really cares about any of the other fighters. None of them. None of these guys have achieved any world-class wins. None of them have achieved any world-class wins. That's 10 fighters here, and there ain't a single one. Now, Chris Billam-Smith has had 1 world-class win against Lawrence Hug Coley. Apart from that, yeah. Who else has beaten a world-class fight? None of those guys. None of those guys have beaten world-class fighters. So basically, it's a European stroke British level bill. And it's £19.99, and they think it's going to fill Spurs. I mean, it's a pathetic bill. Pathetic, man. I mean, for a pay-per-view. I won't say it's one of the worst, because I'd have to look back. There have been some bad ones, but this is clearly riding high. It's got to be top 5 of one of the worst PPVs ever, for sure. I'd have to look and try to remember some of the PPVs we've seen. What was it? Audie Harrison, David Gay, but that one was a bit whack. But didn't have like Magnificent 7 or some nonsense like that. Yeah. So this is a terrible bill. I really don't know how they're going to whip up enough people, to fit in Spurs. I mean, how many people fit in Spurs Stadium? Over 60,000. What you think? Over 60,000 people, and they come and watch this bum bill. Come on, man. It's not gonna. There's gonna be huge swathes of it, huge areas of it. They're gonna be like cordoned off. They won't sell the seats, or they might try, but no one will buy them. So some people might want to. There'll be great empty spaces. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. There's no way 62,000 people are going to come watch Conor Benn vs Chris Eubank and 4 bum fights. And that's the reality. So there you go, man. You know what I mean? I'd like to know. Hit in the comments, like, what kind of person? Does anyone know anyone who would go to this fight? Anyone at all? Casual or hardcore? Casual or hardcore? Tell me. Anyway, peace in the Middle East, peeps.